All right. Well, welcome back, hustlers. It's been a while since I've done any kind of YouTube conversations without it being related to the brokerage. I'm Holly Brink, and this is free real estate agent training. So, today I've got just one of my agent friends, Damien, here, and we're going to talk a little bit about the article that I'm submitting to Inman, which is mostly about how there's red flags when somebody uses AI to like write their content. And then like how it just instantly like everyone kind of glazes over and they're losing credibility. So you and I talk about AI a lot because we're kind of in this transition of you're using Claude and then as soon as you can, like I'm gonna switch over to Claude, but I'm making you learn it first. And um we love AI for some things, but it's becoming glaringly obvious that it's gross in other ways. So do you have any thoughts on that?
Um, I think AI is best when it's invisible, the back end stuff. Because everybody knows what, if you're on social media or the prompts, things like that, people know when you didn't write that. So,
It's so funny because I saw this guy on Instagram. I started following him like a week or two ago. And then he made this post last night about how he's grown in 30 days, like not following any of the tips and not doing any of the things, but is and being authentically himself. But then his post was all AI. Like his post was all AI about how he was being authentic on camera. So I like wrote and was like, yeah, but you wrote this with ChatGPT. Like
right.
what? And he was like, every one of them. And I'm like, why would you brag about that? I'm so confused. So, I mean, I'll still follow him. I like the guy because, yeah, he's a total vibe, like on camera, but I just thought that was really funny. So, what are some of the biggest dead giveaways to you when you're looking at like a post
I,
that somebody wrote?
I can never again for the rest of my life use an M dash, even if I am actually writing it and it
Right?
makes sense to use. Like that's dead to everybody.
Yeah,
Can't happen.
right. And honestly, like that's the thing. Like the ChatGPT says, and honestly, da 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 da. So every time I see that, I cringe and I like die inside a little bit.
So, does it make you change the way you talk sometimes too? Like when you're
Yes.
doing social media and because like same thing, like I don't want people to be like, "Oh yeah, he's definitely, use ChatGPT for that or Claude or whatever it is." It's like, "No, this was an original thought."
You know, when we first launched the brokerage, we were leaning really heavy into AI because it was right around the time, it was right after, everyone was going down the ChatGPT like whole black hole of ChatGPT, I will say. And I feel like it really dampened my own thoughts and my own creativity and everything I was going to ChatGPT and be like, make this better, improve this. And I think it really like chipped away at my self-esteem, like subconsciously, because for years people used to come to me to ask me how to like approach things or write things. But then here I was deferring to this machine that quite frankly is just an idiot. Like it still just makes
Absolutely. And I think that some of the AIs are worse than the others. And right now, you know that I'm like diving heavily into Claude, but I had a disagreement with Claude the other night, and my wife called it stupid. So my wife and her family, they're very into like Ren Fair and things like that. And my wife's name is actually Gaelic. So we asked Claude, how do you say the word dog in Gaelic? And it gave us completely the wrong answer. And it's something that like my wife knows Gaelic, you know what I mean?
yeah.
So like um they're all making mistakes and that's going to continue. I think it's just pulling from way too much information all at once and it's picking and choosing.
Well, and for years we've heard you can't read everything on the internet. And anybody can post anything they want. So whether
Yep.
it's satire or completely fake, ChatGPT can't discern or AI can't discern between what's reality and what's fiction. And then it just wants to fill in the blanks if it doesn't know an answer. So it's wild. But yeah, some of the other, I mean, I know in the article I listed a bunch of other red flags, but I just really want to encourage people to like use AI for building stuff and using it with discernment, not necessarily for all of our posts and our captions and
Mhm.
our property descriptions. It's just getting really old. And I think everybody in humanity is just kind of glazing over now.
Right.
So, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
fun.
well, I think that you were saying too, like you could tell immediately if something is AI and it's not worth your time to read it if that's the case. And that's absolutely true. And I feel like as a society, our attention span keeps getting smaller and smaller. And this isn't helping, you know?
Right. Well, and every time I see something on social media about how to get people's attention, they're like, you have to get their attention in the first 3 seconds with some kind of hook. And it's just, yeah, our brains are just, and that we all want this dopamine. So even if it's somebody that doesn't have ADHD, our brains are addicted. Like it's constantly searching out like what makes us happy, what fires off, our excitement or whatever. So I just, same thing with the writing. And it's like, if I knew that you genuinely wrote something, I would read it. But if the first 3 sentences, it's like, that's AI slop, like,
Mhm.
no, thank you. It's just not worth my time.
I think it's great for formatting, but it needs to be and you need to write it. I think that's the important part. Like it has to have your voice. Now, I'm not the best speller. I'm not good with punctuation and stuff. And that's like really where I do rely on AI in those instances. But I think it's more for me, it's more for building backend systems. Like, what is the administrative stuff that I hate to do where I can save time by teaching AI to do certain things? Of course, you're still double checking everything, it's never going to be anything critical.
Right. Yeah. I'm excited to see what you're building in Claude and stuff. So I
Yeah.
can't.
I was actually talking to Kyle about it and she was like, "Hey, Holly said you're building this thing out." And I was like, "Kyle, I don't really know what to tell you it is because I don't know what it is yet. I don't know what it's going to be. You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of my brainchild right now, and we'll see what it turns out."
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just kind of like brain dumping and being like, oh, will it do this? And I need to keep track of that. And
Mhm.
that's really cool. I'm excited. So,
Yeah. And it's really like, where am I spending the most of my time? That is something that could be like an assistant or whatever. And that's kind of the route that I'm going with that. I think that you're right though, like the chat GPTs and the Geminis, like that is being utilized a lot for content. At least that's what I talk to my colleagues about. That's what they're using it for. And again, it's not your tone, it's not your voice, you're not showing who you are.
yeah. So I guess my only suggestion for that would be a guardrail. Like, so if you're just using it as like a amped up, souped up, like spell checker, make sure you're telling it that. Like, do not change my tone, do not change my
Yep.
words, just clean it up for, grammatical errors. And
Yeah.
sometimes I'll be like, make it APA style because what the fuck is it about it? Like every single sentence, it's its own paragraph. I don't
Right.
understand. Like, when did we start doing that? And I have like flashbacks to like growing up and then being like, it's a paragraph, it's 4 to 5 sentences, and it's so crazy.
Yeah. Okay. So, true question. Have you yelled at your AI?
Well, yes, for a variety of reasons. Not as bad as like Sandy. Like I've heard her yell at her AI. So like, I mean, I yell and Holly yell, right? So,
Right.
but I'll be like, what the, like, what are you doing? Like, why are you?
Yeah.
And I think what irritates me the most is I'll be trying to just brainstorm something and work through something, but it'll give me like a dissertation with every response. And it's like, I don't need you to explain it. I'm just trying to like brainstorm with you. So
Yeah.
really trying to craft how to get it to like STFU, just shut up and do what I want it to do.
Mhm. Well, and I think you have to be what I have found is that you have to take the time to really dumb it down and think of all the questions. Like, what is it going to do that's going to upset me? So you got to teach it to, like, hey, I don't need you to read that back to me. I just need you to post it in there. You know what I mean? It's like all these little things, but once it's set up, then it's golden.
So so since I have you, like what does that look like the transition from ChatGPT to Claude? Like did you ask
Oh,
your ChatGPT like to help you program your vibe in Claude? Like tell me what that was like.
yep. And again, Claude actually gave me a prompt for that, and so I put that into ChatGPT and pretty much like I was pulling all the relevant data, like all the things that like it had learned about me and the things that I hate, like don't ever use M dashes ever. Um, and then there are certain things that I do that are mistakes that I'm okay with. Like I don't always use the correct punctuation, and I don't want to change that unless it's something that needs to be perfect. Like in my general everyday, if I am having it help me, draft a quick email or something that isn't super important, those things, those little things are put in because they're still me. And
Mhm.
I'm okay with the imperfection.
Right. Yeah. Well, then that's good because you can tell as soon as the tone changes that it's not you. So that's good.
I do use it for when I have a delicate conversation that I need to not say the wrong thing or show my anger or things like that. That's when I utilize the AI to keep me out of trouble.
Okay. So if you had to show someone your text messages or your conversation with your AIs, which one would you rather show somebody?
I'm sorry, say it again.
So like if you had to show someone like, your text messages or your AI conversations, which one would you be like, sure, and the other one you'd be like, no way, Jose.
Ollie, we've already had this conversation. We've already discussed if something happens to me, it is your job to
I just
delete my AI history.
have to give me all the passwords, but yes, I forgot I'm your emergency contact.
Yes. So yeah, you can see my text messages any day. I'm fine.
With that back end system. It's getting in people in trouble now too, like for crimes and stuff. But anyways, all right. Well, hey, I really appreciate the conversation and you jumping on and having this with me. And hopefully we'll have more conversations as the weeks go on. So thanks so much, Damien.
No problem, Ollie.
All right, bye.
Bye.